All right. Welcome to your personalized deep dive. So it sounds like you're ready to turn those dreams into something real.
Yeah, we're going to make it happen.
We're going to make it happen. And you have some awesome source material to help us out here.
Absolutely. Some really practical stuff.
Yeah.
It's not just motivation and fluff.
Yeah, I was really excited when I saw this request come through. Because we're going to be diving into some really cool strategies, like setting SMART goals.
Yeah.
I know you've probably heard that before. But this source material actually goes deep on making them work for you.
Yeah. It personalizes it.
Yes, exactly. And then there's a whole section on the growth mindset.
Yeah.
And even things like the Pomodoro technique or using accountability apps. It's about taking action.
Yeah. It is taking action, not just dreaming.
Not just dreaming, for sure.
And you know what I think is especially interesting about this source material?
What's that?
It emphasizes that achieving goals is about self-compassion
Oh, interesting.
as much as discipline.
Okay.
It's not about pushing yourself till you burn out,
Yeah,
but finding that sweet spot where you're challenged but also taking care of yourself.
I like that. Okay, so let's unpack this, starting with the foundation.
All right.
SMART goals, which, like we said, you've probably heard of specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. But what really jumped out at me in the source material was the emphasis on the relevant part.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about setting any goal.
Right.
It has to be something that really matters to you. What do you think?
Well, and what I think is so fascinating about that
Yeah.
is they connect that to preventing burnout.
Okay.
It's like you could set a perfectly smart goal to climb Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Maybe you even achieve it.
Right.
But if it doesn't actually mean something to you,
Yeah.
if it's not connected to what you're passionate about or your values,
What's the point?
yeah, what's the point?
That's so true. I think about all the times I've set goals because I thought I should,
Yeah.
not because I actually wanted to.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
And guess what? Those are the ones I never stick with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the source material is saying sustainable success
Yeah.
is about finding that overlap between what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you love to do.
Okay, so now that we've laid that foundation,
All right.
let's move on to defining what success means for you personally.
Yes.
Because this source material is not about fitting into someone else's mold.
Right.
It's about you figuring out what a fulfilling life looks like.
It is. And they go deep on identifying your core values,
Oh, yeah.
which I'm a huge fan of values-based goal setting.
What does that look like?
Well, it's like, imagine setting a financial goal, but neglecting your value of family time.
Oh.
You might achieve that financial goal,
Okay.
but end up feeling totally empty.
Right, because you've sacrificed something that really matters to you.
Exactly. And the source material really digs into how misaligned goals
Yeah.
can lead to that feeling of always chasing something,
Oh, yeah.
but never feeling satisfied.
Right. Like you achieve success by some external measure,
Yeah.
but internally it just feels hollow.
Yeah. And they offer a cool exercise
Oh, what's that?
to help you uncover your core values.
Okay.
It involves reflecting on key moments in your life,
Okay.
both positive and negative,
Oh, interesting.
and asking yourself what principles were at play during those times.
Okay, I need to try this because it feels like a way to get past those surface level values we sometimes think we should have
Totally.
and tap into what's really driving us.
Yeah. And the argument is,
Yeah.
when your goals are rooted in your deepest values, motivation becomes almost effortless.
Yeah.
You're not forcing yourself. You're moving in a direction that feels right.
Okay, I am feeling inspired already,
Yeah.
but let's be real for a second. Even when you have goals that align with your values, mindset can still be a major roadblock.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know what? I am the queen of self-doubt.
Oh, really?
Oh my gosh. It's like the minute I start making progress, that little voice pops up and says, "Who do you think you are?"
Oh, that voice. So common. This source material has a whole chapter on reframing those negative thought patterns.
Yes, I skimmed that part. It seemed really insightful.
Yeah.
They talk about identifying your limiting beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
those stories we tell ourselves that hold us back.
Yeah. What I found helpful was their discussion on the growth mindset.
Okay.
This idea based on Carol Dweck's work,
Yeah.
that we can actually train ourselves to see challenges not as threats,
Okay.
but as opportunities to learn and grow.
But how do you actually do that?
Yeah.
It's easy to talk about mindset shifts,
Right.
but when you're in the thick of it,
Yeah.
those negative thoughts feel so real.
They do. The source material provides some practical techniques.
Okay. Like what?
One is using affirmations,
Okay.
but not in a fluffy, superficial way.
Right.
It's about consciously choosing thoughts that empower you
Okay.
and repeating them until they become your default.
Got it.
So instead of, I'm not good enough,
Yeah.
you might say, I'm learning and growing every day.
So it's about actively replacing those negative tapes.
Yeah.
With something more empowering.
Exactly.
I like that.
They also recommend keeping a success journal
Oh, interesting.
where you actually record your achievements,
Okay.
big and small.
Yeah.
This helps to combat self-doubt by giving you tangible evidence of what you're capable of.
I love that. It's like building a case file
Yes,
to prove wrong, that inner critic.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. But even with the best mindset, sometimes we need help from others.
Yeah, of course.
And the source material talks about this. The importance of a support network.
Yes.
It even mentions using accountability apps.
Yeah. Have you ever used one?
I haven't really. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do they work?
I've used habit tracking apps
Okay.
that not only let me set goals and track progress,
Yeah.
but also connect with the community.
Oh, cool.
It's like having a built-in cheer squad.
I like that. That's awesome. And it ties into what the source material says about sharing your goals with others.
Oh, yeah,
Can actually increase your chances of success.
totally. It's like making a public commitment,
Yeah,
which can be really motivating.
that makes sense. They even suggest finding an accountability partner, someone who shares your goals or is working towards something similar.
Yeah. So you can check in with each other,
Yeah, celebrate wins.
offer support when things get tough.
That's a great idea. Okay, I know we've just scratched the surface here,
Yep, we have.
but before we get into the nitty-gritty of action planning,
Okay.
I want to touch on something else from the source material
Yeah.
that really resonated with me.
What's that?
The Pomodoro technique.
Ah,
Have you heard of this?
of course.
Yeah.
The time management technique.
Yeah.
Where you work in focused bursts.
Yeah,
Typically 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Followed by a short break.
exactly. And the source material highlights this as a way to overcome procrastination and improve concentration.
It's so helpful.
What I love about it is that it breaks down work into manageable chunks.
Yes.
Because I am someone who gets overwhelmed easily.
I hear that.
So the idea of just focusing on 25 minutes at a time feels so much less daunting
Right.
than trying to tackle a huge task all at once.
And the source material suggests combining the Pomodoro technique
Okay.
with a specific to-do list strategy.
What's that?
So you create a list of tasks for the day.
Okay.
And then during each Pomodoro,
Yeah.
you focus on just one item from that list.
So it's like laser focus on one task at a time.
Exactly.
No multitasking or switching between different projects.
Right.
I can see how that would boost productivity.
Yeah.
And reduce that feeling of being scattered and overwhelmed.
Totally.
Which I struggle with for sure.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
Yes. Love that. All right, well, buckle up, listener, because that's where we're headed next.
Let's do it.
We're about to get into the nitty-gritty of turning those dreams into a step-by-step plan. Stay tuned for part 2, where we unpack the source material's insights on creating an action plan and tracking your progress toward actually achieving those big goals.
I can't wait.
Me neither.
Welcome back. So you ready to get into the practical side of things?
Oh, I am so ready. Let's roll up our sleeves.
All right. So, we talked about setting smart goals
Yeah.
and aligning them with your values.
Yeah.
And cultivating a growth mindset.
Right.
But now let's actually turn that into an action plan.
Yes. I always get a little stuck at this stage.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm super curious what the source material has for us.
Well, it's funny because the source material actually starts this section by acknowledging that a lot of people skip action planning altogether.
Oh, yeah.
They have the dream, they set the goal, but
They
then
get overwhelmed.
get overwhelmed by the sheer scope of it all.
Oh, 100%. I have been there so many times. It's like you have this big, beautiful vision,
Yeah.
but no idea where to start. So you end up spinning your wheels
Totally.
or getting distracted by easier tasks.
Exactly. That's where the action plan comes in.
Okay.
And they emphasize, it's not about creating this rigid set-in-stone document.
Yeah, okay.
It's more about having a roadmap, a flexible guide.
Okay, I like that already. That takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin?
Well, the source material outlines a 5-step process
5 steps, okay?
for creating an action plan.
Yeah.
The first step is to break down your goal
Yeah.
into smaller, more manageable milestones. They call these mini goals,
Mini goals, I like that.
which I think is a great way to frame it.
It is. It's less overwhelming. You feel like you're making progress more quickly.
Exactly. And they give a really good example. Let's say your goal is to write a book.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on the enormity of writing a whole book,
Right.
you might set a mini goal to write 1 chapter per week,
Okay.
or even simpler, to write for 1 hour each day.
Oh, I love that. Because that feels so much more doable.
Right, it takes the pressure off.
Yeah, so what's the next step?
So step 2 is to identify the specific actions required
Okay.
to achieve each mini goal.
Got it.
This is where you get really granular.
Mm-hmm.
So for example,
Yeah.
if your mini goal is to write 1 chapter per week, the actions might include researching, outlining, drafting, and editing.
So you're not just saying write a chapter, you're outlining the actual steps.
Exactly. You're breaking it down even further.
I like that.
Okay.
So break down the big goal into mini goals, then break down the mini goals into specific actions.
Right.
Got it. What's next?
Step 3 is to prioritize those actions.
Okay. How do we do that?
They recommend using a system called the Eisenhower matrix.
Wait, is that the one where you categorize tasks as urgent versus important?
Yes. You got it.
Okay, I've heard of that.
So the idea is to focus on the tasks that are both urgent and important,
Right.
then tackle the ones that are important but not urgent.
Okay.
And then the tasks that are urgent but not important can often be delegated.
Yeah,
And the ones that are neither urgent nor important,
just get rid of them.
you can usually eliminate them altogether.
That's such a helpful framework. I always get bogged down by those urgent but not important tasks.
Yes, it's so easy to do that.
This is a good reminder to focus on what really matters.
Yeah. And they even suggest that you should actually schedule time
Oh,
for those important but not urgent tasks.
That's a good idea, because it's easy to let those slip through the cracks.
It is, but they're often the ones that contribute most to our long-term goals.
So true. Okay, so we've broken down the goals, identified the actions, and prioritized them. What are the last 2 steps?
All right, so step 4 is to set deadlines
Okay.
for each action.
Yeah.
This is where the time-bound part of SMART goals comes in.
Right.
Deadlines create a sense of urgency
Yes.
and help to keep you accountable.
I am a big fan of deadlines, even self-imposed ones.
Me too.
They give you something to work towards,
For sure.
and they help prevent procrastination.
Absolutely. What's the final step?
Yeah. What's step 5?
Step 5 is to identify the resources you need.
Okay. Resources like what?
So that could include time, money, tools, or even support from others.
Okay.
And they actually suggest brainstorming a list of potential roadblocks
Oh, interesting.
that you might encounter,
Okay.
and then coming up with solutions in advance.
So you're being proactive about problem solving.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Okay, so we've created our action plan.
We have.
Now, how do we actually track our progress? Because I'll admit, I am terrible at this.
Oh, yeah.
I start with the best intentions, but then life gets in the way, and I lose track of where I'm at.
I think that's a common challenge.
Yeah.
The source material dedicates a whole section to progress tracking,
Okay.
and they highlight a few key points. First, they recommend choosing a tracking method that works for you.
Okay, so something I'll actually use.
Exactly. It might be a simple spreadsheet,
Yeah.
a bullet journal, a habit tracking app,
Yeah.
or even just a whiteboard where you visualize your progress.
So it's about finding a system that feels motivating.
Yes. And they emphasize that tracking progress isn't just about checking boxes.
Okay, it's more than that.
It's about gathering data
Data. Okay.
that can inform your approach.
Oh, interesting.
So are you consistently hitting your deadlines?
Right.
Are certain tasks taking longer than expected?
Yeah.
Are there any patterns you're noticing?
So it's not just about accountability.
Right.
It's about using the data to make adjustments as needed.
Exactly.
Huh.
And they recommend scheduling regular review sessions
Okay.
to analyze your progress.
Yep.
This might be weekly, monthly, or even quarterly,
Okay.
depending on the scope of your goals.
So it's like having regular check-ins with yourself.
Yes.
To see what's working, what's not,
Exactly.
and how you can optimize your approach.
And they also suggest using those review sessions to celebrate your wins.
Oh. Yes.
Because it's so easy to get caught up in what still needs to be done
It is.
that we forget to acknowledge how far we've come.
So important. I love that. And you know what? I think that's a perfect segue into our next section,
Okay.
which is all about overcoming those common challenges
Yeah.
that pop up on the path toward achieving our dreams.
Let's do it.
All right, listener. Get ready to face those inner demons. We're about to unpack the source material's insights on overcoming procrastination, self-doubt, and that sneaky feeling of overwhelm that can derail even the best laid plans. All right, welcome back, listener. It's time to face the music. You ready for this?
I'm actually excited about this part
Okay.
because the source material gets really practical here
Okay.
about those obstacles that can trip us up on the way to our dreams.
Right, those pesky challenges. We're going to talk about them.
We are. And you know what I like?
What?
They give specific strategies,
Yeah.
not just vague motivational stuff.
Yes, no sugarcoating.
No,
Just real advice we can actually use.
exactly. Let's start with procrastination.
Ooh, the big P. I know it well.
We all do.
You know.
That
Yeah.
feeling.
Yes, when you have a deadline coming up,
Yeah.
but suddenly cleaning the fridge seems super important.
Right, or like doing anything
Anything else.
except the thing you need to do.
Exactly. So the source material actually digs into like the psychology of procrastination.
Yeah, they say it's often rooted in fear.
Oh, interesting. Fear of what?
Well, fear of failure, fear of judgment, or even sometimes fear of success.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just laziness or bad time management.
Right.
It's deeper than that.
It's about those emotional barriers.
Right, those mental blocks.
Okay, so what can we do about it?
Well, they offer a few strategies for dealing with those fears.
Okay, like what?
One is to break tasks down into smaller steps.
Right, which we talked about earlier.
Exactly, make it less intimidating.
Yeah, bite-sized chunks. I like that.
Okay,
What else?
another one is temptation bundling.
Temptation bundling. What is that?
So it's this really cool idea.
Okay.
You pair something you enjoy
Yeah.
with a task you tend to put off.
Oh, I like where this is going.
Right.
Yeah.
So for example, you might only let yourself listen to your favorite podcast while you're working out,
Okay.
or you save that delicious treat
Yes.
for after you finish a tough report.
Ooh. So you're using procrastination to your advantage.
Exactly.
I love that.
What else?
They also suggest making a procrastination punch list.
A procrastination punch list. What's that?
It's a list of easy, mindless tasks
Okay.
that you can do when you feel that urge to procrastinate.
So you're still being productive,
Yes.
but you're not totally off track.
Exactly.
Okay. I love these ideas. I'm writing all of this down. All right. So procrastination. We're tackling it. Now, what about self-doubt? That one's a killer.
It is. But the source material is really kind about it.
Yeah, okay.
They say it's normal to feel self-doubt,
Yeah.
especially when you're pushing yourself and trying new things.
It's true. It's like that inner critic just loves to chime in.
It does.
Yeah.
But they have some good strategies for dealing with it.
Oh, good. I need those. What are they?
One is to reframe those negative thoughts.
Okay.
So instead of saying, I can't do this,
Yeah.
you ask yourself, what if I could?
Oh, I like that.
Or what would I need to learn to make this possible?
Yeah. It's like shifting from I can't
Right.
to how can I?
Exactly.
Okay. What else?
They also suggest writing a positive self-talk script.
What? Like a pep talk for yourself?
Basically, you write down all the good things you believe about yourself,
Okay.
your strengths,
Yeah.
your accomplishments, your potential.
It's like your own personal hype document.
Yeah. And they say to read it every day,
Every day.
especially when that self-doubt creeps in.
Oh. So you're rewiring your brain for positivity.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've tackled procrastination and self-doubt. Now what about overwhelm? That feeling of just having too much on your plate.
Yeah. The source material says overwhelm comes from a lack of clarity,
That makes sense.
like when you're not sure what to focus on.
Right. You're trying to do everything at once.
Exactly, and then you feel overwhelmed.
Yeah. It's like juggling too many things at once. Eventually you drop something.
Right. So they suggest a few things to regain clarity and control.
Okay, I need that. What are they?
One is to declutter your to-do list.
Ooh, less is more.
Exactly. Get rid of anything that's not essential
Okay.
or that someone else can handle.
I need to be ruthless with my to-do list.
They also recommend time blocking.
Yeah. We talked about that earlier.
It's such a good way to create structure in your day
It is.
and make sure you're focusing on the most important tasks.
Time blocking is a game changer. All right, so we've covered a lot.
We have.
But before we wrap up,
Okay.
I want to bring it back to something you mentioned earlier, self-compassion. The source material really emphasizes that.
They do.
And it's so important because it's easy to get caught up in the hustle and be hard on ourselves.
It is. And they make a great point.
What's that?
Self-compassion actually fuels resilience.
Okay.
It's not about making excuses.
Right.
It's about treating yourself with kindness.
Okay.
The same way you would treat a friend.
I like that. That's a good reframe.
Right, being your own best cheerleader.
Even when you mess up.
Especially when you mess up.
Yes. Okay. They even suggest creating a self-compassion toolkit.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
It's basically a collection of things that nourish you.
Okay.
Things that help your mind, body, and spirit.
So like meditation.
Yeah, meditation, journaling,
Yeah.
spending time in nature, listening to uplifting music, connecting with loved ones.
I love that. So it's like a go-to list of ways to soothe yourself and recharge.
Exactly. And they say
But-
self-care is not selfish.
It's not.
It's essential.
It's essential for sustainable success.
Right. When you take care of yourself,
Yeah.
you can show up better for everything.
Your goals, your relationships, the world.
Everything.
All right, well, this has been an inspiring conversation.
It has.
I've gotten so much out of this deep dive.
Me too.
And I hope you have too, listener. As we wrap up,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with one final thought from the source material.
Okay.
Something to really think about as you go on your own journey.
What is it?
Instead of focusing just on the outcome, how can you enjoy the process of pursuing your dreams?
That's such a good question.
Isn't it?
It really makes you shift your perspective.
Yeah, find joy in the journey.
Not just the destination.
Exactly. It's about savoring those small wins.
Yes.
The lessons you learn, the growth you experience along the way.
And finding those moments of joy and satisfaction.
Every single day.
Yes.
All right, well, that is beautiful. And with that, we'll leave you to continue on your own incredible journey. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll be back soon with more fascinating topics and expert insights. Until then, keep dreaming big, keep taking action, and celebrate every step of the way.